Hello and welcome to Midnight Movie Madness. This week we watched Life After Beth. We apologize for the audio quality in this episode. Our Skype connection was less than ideal, so please bear with us and thank you so much for listening.
What's going on?
I wrote this for you.
This sucks.
Well, if you could just listen to your heart.
Zach, what's happening to me?
You ate a guy.
Oh, what do you want from me, Zach? I'm a zombie. Zombies eat guys.
Hi everyone, welcome to Midnight Movie Madness. I'm Crystal.
I'm Monica.
I'm Brady.
I'm Kenda.
And we have a new special guest.
I'm Noel. Thank you for having me.
Yay!
Yay!
So this week we watched a little movie called Life After Beth. It was directed by Jeff Baena. I think it's his directorial debut.
Yes.
And it was premiered at Sundance, and it stars Aubrey Plaza and Dane DeHaan. And the IMDb short synopsis is: a young man's recently deceased girlfriend mysteriously returns from the dead, but he slowly realizes she is not the way he remembered her. I guess let's go around and tell everybody how we felt about it. I am going to rate this a 6. I was really, really surprised at how much I liked it, despite I had a little bit of apprehension based on the trailers, because, it didn't really look like something I wanted to be a part of, except I really like Aubrey Plaza, and I did not know how good the rest of the cast was. So I was very surprised by that. I was surprised by how lighthearted it was, how funny it was, and how violent it gets, which I really did enjoy that too. I just felt like I was delightfully surprised, and the more and more I watched, the more and more I liked. Monica?
I'm gonna rate this a 6 as well. I kind of want to rate it more just because I did love it so much, but like I said, I don't want to put it anywhere near Rosemary's Baby or Babadook, so it's just gonna stay at a 6. I love, like, my two passions when it comes to films are like the macabre and then silly, and I love it when those two meld very nicely together, and I felt like this one did. I also really love one of the actors, Matthew Gray Gruber. He's from Criminal Minds. So I do love Criminal Minds. That's one of my crime dramas. But I don't actually like him as much in Criminal Minds as I do when I see him in movies like this. I feel like he really shines when he's in movies like this because he was the older, really weird brother. Mm-hmm. And he really plays bizarre characters when he's in other films. And I'm like, yeah, I love this guy. So I was excited.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Brady?
So I'm giving this a 4. I went into this movie, I didn't look at the trailer's synopsis or anything. You guys just said, hey, we're going to do this movie. So I plugged it in, watched it. The cast is fantastic. I love almost everyone that's in the movie. But I just kind of disappointed with their performance all around. I think it's going to be more of an issue with directing rather than the actors themselves. But I can get into that a little bit more later.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Kenda?
All right. I guess that's my cue. I'm going to give it a true neutral 5. And it's mainly because, well, I really enjoyed the movie and the humor in it, and just the black comedy was beautiful. I feel like it didn't make enough of a lasting impression where I could take this and be like, I need to show this to everybody I know. This
You're not going to tell your grandkids about this movie one day?
No, sorry, grandkids, I'm not. But, I would watch it again for sure, and it was a lot of fun, but it's not something that I'm going to be thinking about 3-4 days later that's going to really make me puzzle through it. Like, it just wasn't that deep for me. And I feel like that kind of depth is necessary, at least for me, to be able to give it a higher rating. But I did enjoy it. And I talked a little bit before about Beth brings in that whole human element, despite the fact that she's slowly becoming a zombie. It's kind of ironic. And I identified with her while she did that. even though I didn't expect to.
She nailed that kind of lost rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole smooth jazz thing was just so.
Oh my God, we
hilarious.
have to
I
talk
couldn't
about
get over
that later.
Yes. Yeah. In addition with that, the music throughout the whole movie was brilliant. I thought I didn't expect to like it, and I really did. Like I enjoyed every single score or song from a band that they pulled up to use for certain scenes. I thought it really highlighted everything they wanted to show. So I thought that was great. But yeah, a 5. That will be my final rating.
Cool. Noel?
Yeah, I would say between a 5 and a 6, 5.5. I agree with everybody. I came into it thinking there's a lot of reasons that I'm not going to like this. Not big on indie kooky comedies that try really hard to be quirky for the sake of quirky. Not interested in, pale, young, emo lead actors.
Right.
I'm a little old for, some of the relationship stuff that's going on. I don't think we need another kooky zombie comedy. But I was really taken. I think the film gets better as it goes. And I think that it ultimately becomes it's really about something. And that was what really surprised me. That it seems to me a metaphor for somebody really trying to work through the ending of a relationship. But I feel like you don't get the full weight of that until the very end. And by the end, even though, strangely enough, it got funnier as it went on, but it also got kind of more moving as it went on. So, and I think a lot of that has to do with the skill of the actors. And a lot of those actors have worked together in other things. So I feel like there was some really great give and take between some of the cast.
Yeah.
I think that really helped develop the relationships and bring out that aspect of the film, the more emotional aspects of it. So I was ultimately moved. I think it has a heart, which a lot of comedies don't, and a lot of zombie movies don't. So.
Yeah.
Great.
So-
Okay. Let's go through it then. The movie kind of opens in a sort of zombie-less world. It's just normal, normal place, normal town. Beth is. It opens with Beth. Brady, do you want to explain this?
No, I'm good. I'll let you talk
All right.
about this before I start yelling at it.
Okay. Well, I mean, they show Beth hiking, I guess, and then they cut to emo boy looking at some napkins, and he's about to go to a funeral. And we were mentioning before, the movie takes its time.
Yeah, a lot of
things.
stuff is really long and drawn out on this film, and I'd like to say, the one thing I did not like about this movie was the main character. Not like the actor himself. I never loved that emo character, and the whole movie, I'm just like, God, go on, get over this.
At first, it's all right because he just had his girlfriend die.
Yeah,
I mean, that's traumatizing.
At first it was okay.
And you have to keep in mind that the timeline for this is like 3 days tops. Like from the time that she dies, they have the funeral, and then she comes
I get a
back.
little lost in the timeline because it always shows all the phone calls he does to the parents, and I think like a normal person, he's calling them maybe once a day, once every other day, but odds are he's probably calling them like 20 times a day.
I mean, it might be 4 days, something like that. I mean, from the funeral till the time that she gets back is about 3 days, give or take. And he tries to go over and bring them Jell-O after the first night. Like they go and have a talk about everything. They play chase,
have a bonding moment,
Smoke some weed.
smoke a joint, which again, John C. Reilly smokes pot on a daily basis.
It's beautiful.
Probably.
Oh man.
And I really love Molly Shannon in this.
I love Molly Shannon
complete
so
denial.
much.
Oh, she's my girl.
Yeah, she gets crazier as the movie goes on, and it's fantastic.
She was so good in this whole movie. Both the moms in this movie, I love them both. They were so.
I mean, both family
ambivalent,
dynamics.
I guess.
Yeah, the family dynamics between both of them were introduced in a really funny way.
Yeah.
One of my notes here is so he takes home one of Beth's scarves because Molly
something of
Shannon.
hers and he misses her.
Yeah, so he's holding on to it, smelling it, missing her
Wearing it
and
every
stuff.
day.
Putting on his crotch.
And
Yep.
in my notes it says, "Are you having sex with a scarf?" Because
I love that scene where the brother busts in.
that is hilarious.
Yeah,
But
like
that's like the regular like family perfect timing kind of
Yes.
thing. Like they always just find those moments. Not that normal people have sex with scarves, but
Hey, let's not do that.
Well, I mean, define normal, but so
define scarves.
define scarves. So our main character, what is his name?
Zach.
Zach. Our main character, Zach, he's going through all this grief, and then he notices Beth's family starts ignoring him, so he gets a little suspicious, and he's trying to look into their window and just see what the heck is going on. Why are they avoiding me when we had a moment together, and
Well-
then
I think you should.
again, I love his brother in this scene too because his brother's like they live in like a gated community together. They're like neighbors, and his brother's one of the like security guards for that gated community. But he has that total cop syndrome.
a little Napoleon complex.
Kyle.
I love it
amazing
so
character.
much.
I think Kyle is probably the best character of the movie, to be honest.
Oh, I love
That's pretty
him.
great.
The great thing is, I didn't recognize him until you just mentioned the TV show that he's in. And I went, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, like the brains of that show.
The prince of that show.
Yeah,
Right.
I completely mistook him from another character from Hot Rod. I was like, yeah, it's Dan from Hot Rod. And then you brought that up. I was like, wait, no,
Yeah,
he's
okay.
not. You're right.
That makes sense. Yeah, but anyway, he's fun. He gets to yell at his brother because he really wants to be some sort of authority figure.
I like
And
he's
it's-
like I can't arrest you or handcuff you, but I can escort you to the outside of the premises.
I don't want to mace you, but I will.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All around just fun character, but
Yeah.
Zach sees Beth through the window, and come on now.
It's almost like one of those phantom shots because she just like walks by real quick,
Yeah.
and you're like, wait, is this a ghost movie or a zombie movie?
Right. And she dies from being bit by a snake. Like, the opening scene, she's walking, texting, and then funeral.
Cuts out.
And then
It's
funeral.
never really... it takes like 10, 15, 20 minutes-ish before it's actually explained that she died from a snake bite while hiking.
Right.
And the first time I saw this, I too didn't read a synopsis. I didn't watch the trailer. I had no idea what I was going into. I was just like, oh, I like all these actors. This is on Amazon Prime. Click. And so when I first started watching, I'm like, oh, this is going to be like that Stephen King book where he's like bit by a snake and everybody thinks he's dead. But he was like aware of everything that was happening while they were doing the autopsy. And then he got like a boner and then he's like alive.
Yeah, sure.
But just like that. That's what I was thinking.
The entire time, like...
Boy, was I wrong.
There's a few things that are set up,
No
like
boners.
when Anna Kendrick's character is
Well,
introduced.
there's some boners.
Scarf boners. Sorry.
Scarf boners.
Sorry,
Anyway,
go ahead, Brady.
So when Anna Kendrick's character is introduced, like there's a subtle little thing. Like maybe I was just hopeful there was going to be the M. Night Shyamalan sort of twist to it all, but there's just little things that makes me wonder if maybe the writing kind of jumped around a little bit. But I don't know. I was hoping for something else to happen.
Like what?
Well, so after he gets to meet Beth and hang out with her after she's resurrected, like Jesus, he runs
Lazarus.
into a mailman that he hasn't seen for
Jerry Gergich.
multiple years.
Oh, I love the mailman. That was so funny.
Yeah,
When I
he
saw
just,
Jerry Gergich, I freaked out. I was like,
Like,
oh,
hey,
they're friends.
how's it going? Here's your mail. Bye. I'm gonna go run over 18 things while I'm leaving. So we see another zombie out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
And then Zach's mom is talking about one of her jazzercise friends talking whatever, and that gets reintroduced later. Before we get into that, Zach sneaks Beth out. They go to the beach, and she freaks out.
Oh, I love that scene
doesn't
when
like-
he's like, "I wrote a song for you," and then
Yes.
she
She's like,
smashes
I
his
hate
guitar.
this.
Yeah, like I'm gonna play a song for you, and this is where I don't agree with what Crystal said about how she was different, because
Well,
in this
part.
moment she plays the same character she always plays, but this time she gets to cuss.
That's true. No, this
And
part
then-
is definitely all her thing.
Right. But I think that's the reason why she was put into this role is because she
because
gets
she does
that attitude.
Yeah, she does that very well.
So she doesn't like the music that he's playing her. She rages, knocks over the railing to the lifeguard thing, and it catches on fire. There's electricity involved somewhere. I don't know. And then she freaks out. She smashes the car window because he's not in line of sight, and she gets angry, rips something with wires out of
I
the
think it's
dash.
his radio.
Yeah, I think she was. Well, no.
No, because then she turns on the radio.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
like
right.
the horn. I don't know. Some
Something. She
wires
rips
come
something.
out of the
Uh,
dashboard.
Then she turns on some smooth jazz.
Oh
and it
man,
makes her happy. And apparently zombies like orgasms. I don't know.
zombies like
Well, she is constantly trying to have sex with him too.
No, it doesn't really start. Like when they're in the attic and
Yeah.
they tell each other that they love each other and they get a little heavy. She's like, no, not with my parents around.
Oh,
And then they go
yeah.
to the pool and snake bite is shown and whatever. She's just kind of trying to avoid the sex, but as soon as the smooth jazz comes on, she's having a brain orgasm.
smooth jazz.
Right.
That's what it does, man.
Right. So now we've got the diner area, and Zach is getting pissed off by the smooth jazz, and he's like, "Can you change this?" And then Anna Kendrick is brought in, and they
Well,
have their
and
little
I
chat.
feel like we should say the whole movie is kind of like another way of talking about moving on
Yeah.
when loved ones die and stuff, and like, you know, even if you can't have them back, if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. And so they're introducing the other girl.
Right. And you know what's funny? I never really picked up on that. It was kind of annoying. Like, I just didn't like the relationship that was going on. I'm like, dude, she's dead. You know she's dead.
Right.
Stop.
But I just love how inappropriate his mom is at all
Yeah.
times.
Oh my god, I love both the moms. That's what I was saying.
Oh,
They're
the
both
moms are fantastic.
perfect at their role.
They're wonderful. And actually, I wanted to roll back real quick. One thing that I am always kind of wishing for sometimes, especially in indie quirky zombie comedies, if why not acknowledge that zombies exist and you live in a world with them? And what was nice was that Zach immediately says, "Whoa, is Beth a zombie? Are you gonna bite me?" Like, just a
Right.
sec. I know he ignores it later, which is dumb, but he was aware, which I think
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah.
Usually people are like,
don't-
"What are you? How do I
Yeah.
kill them?"
Where when you're like watching it on the TV, you're like, oh, this is a zombie. You shoot it in the head. Come on, dude, catch
Yeah.
up.
If this
Anyway.
happened to us, any of us on this call right now, come on, go
Pretty
for the
sure.
head.
Okay,
Easy.
I was on a tangent. I actually want to get back in touch on
Okay.
this.
Sorry.
Okay.
So, when they're at the diner, he sees the cook is probably a zombie at this point.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it just seems a little weird. And then he leans in. He's like, "Can I ask you a question? Have you seen a lot of people coming back from the past?" And her character kind of goes, like you?
Yeah.
And it just, at that point, and when that happens, I'm like, oh man, is he actually the one that's dead?
See, that's
No,
totally what I
there's-
thought.
No,
Like-
they're like, I think they're supposed to be like in their last, like, okay, so they just graduated high school and it's this summer. And so she hasn't seen him. Oh wait, no. I thought it was like she hasn't seen him since senior year. But wasn't the mom saying something about they just moved back into town?
Right. No, I mean that's the thing though, is like we see all these little zombie things pop up, and then like she came into his life, and she's like you coming back to my life. Anyway,
Right.
like it's just that moment. I was wondering if there was going to be a twist that he was actually a zombie and seeing the dead
I'm
people.
pretty
around.
sure with like the way his brother is, there would have been a lot more reaction from him.
Yeah, but I totally see where you're coming from, Brady.
Yeah.
'cause I was
I can see
at that
that.
exact point. I remember writing down in my notes, "Oh my God, it's the Sixth Sense all over again," kind of
Right.
thing.
Or
And I was totally ready for it. And then when it didn't happen, I was slightly disappointed. Like, oh, okay.
right, like maybe he died too, and
Yeah.
like maybe she's dead, and a whole
Maybe
bunch
he
of
actually
weird
did
stuff.
go hiking with her for once.
Yeah, like
Or flamingo
sort
dancing.
of like an anti-Paranorman, where he's dead and gets to see the zombies that are around flamingo dancing.
Flamingo.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so that was my tangent. I will get off my
I mean, that's
soapbox
a good
now.
one.
I'm glad you brought that up, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I did like what Noel was bringing up earlier about the fact that it's all a read too. One way to read it is, relationships. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a kid getting over a relationship. Oh, his mom's like, "Oh, check out this cute girl, huh? Maybe you'll be happy with this one."
Yeah, let's get you a brain scan so you can get over your ex.
And like you said too, like maybe there was some sort of crisis and you left the relationship, but then you get back trying to fix everything, but because there was still a problem in the relationship in the first place, it's
should've
still
not
not going to work out.
Definitely.
Yeah, it almost felt like its own little miniature coming of age thing, I guess. Like you've had your first love, you lose your first love, and for some reason you're like, hey, maybe it'll be a good idea, or you start thinking the grass is greener. And
She's his like unicorn.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's cool that it actually takes it back. Like, no, let's look at what had happened if she hadn't died and continue that, and you realize, okay, so it still would have sucked. Okay, good to know.
Or at least he on the other hand, like losing someone, he gets that second chance to say the things that he wants to say.
Yeah, even though the whole time she just like is
I don't know
dead.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, like what?
Dead. She doesn't know what's going on half the time.
I love, are you going to break up with me? No, you broke up with me. What?
Funny details. Zombies liking the attic.
Yes.
Zombies liking
And dirt.
putting mud in the attic.
What
And
is up with that?
Never
Making
really
like
explained.
a hive or something.
smooth
Kind of.
jazz. My favorite line in the movie is like, "Oh man, I bet like I could totally breathe through my nose around you."
Yeah,
When he's talking to Anna
Anna
Kendrick.
Kendrick.
It's so
Oh, it's amazing. Like your skin is so great. Can I touch it?
yes. I was like, she said yes. What?
Way to be creepy.
The thing is, he did have sex with a zombie.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Like at least twice.
He did not check up on what was going on in there while they were doing it in the park. And
Right.
if I was to, even if I thought like, okay, I know what zombies are, maybe my, significant other from the dead maybe I'm crazy, but I'm going to check the situation out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I would at least like lift up the dress and be like, okay, what's going on before I dive in there.
Especially
Yeah.
considering, hey, let's not get this dead person caught in public. Let's go have sex in the middle of a park.
Yeah.
A children's park.
Just
Greatest
Yeah,
place.
it's a little weird.
Oh, I have another question about the whole test thing. Like, oh, she's got a test tomorrow. Well, I don't know the significance of that, and I was trying to figure that out.
I think
think
she
she's just
died before the end of
confused.
senior year.
Oh, okay.
She had to do her like finals.
I kept waiting for it to be like more
Oh.
significant, and it didn't happen.
it's explained that she doesn't have the memory from at least the past week.
yeah.
and like, because the first time she mentions it, Zach was just like, "What are you talking about?
Right.
You know, it's summer. School's already over. You missed the test." And
yeah.
she's just like, "What? No, silly. School. We got school tomorrow morning. I gotta
Right.
study for the test."
But it's never really explained like what day it is either. So
point.
But it seems like she doesn't remember the whole last week of her life because she doesn't remember breaking up with him. She doesn't remember a
Hiking.
lot of things right
so
there at the
she
end.
may not even remember the last month, for that matter. Like
Maybe.
just a week. I mean, it takes a lot to get to the conclusion that you're going to break up with someone.
Yeah.
So even
And
just the
she
past
was
week.
still like totally in love with him.
Yeah, so
Well-
it's likely more than just the past week. And when we see some of the other zombies, it's like they just show up and they happen. Like the cook pisses me off because someone should have realized this guy should not be handling food.
Just
You're
like
back
the
to
girl
work.
from Starry
Unless it was a
Eyes.
situation like
Yep.
he died the night before of a heart attack and just popped right back up and went to work again.
Yeah, I don't think he looked
took-
particularly rotted
he
at that
didn't.
point.
He looked normal. You
Right.
only got the clue because he was like flipping out.
Yeah,
Right.
I was
Well,
getting
he was-
angry.
He was a little discolored. He was kind of drooly, but
I mean, haven't you ever been to McDonald's, Brady? They all look like that.
I try to avoid McDonald's. But I mean, it just comes down to like if he had a heart attack the day before, he's still not going to be back in the kitchen.
Well, they all
Right.
had different respawn times.
Respawn.
Well, I mean, but back to the point about Beth not remembering. I mean, this gives Zach an opportunity to have a reset button.
Oh,
Right.
So,
point.
because of her memories.
I think one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is when the grandfather comes back and the brother's
yeah.
flipping out.
That was
and then the
amazing.
people who used to live in the house came in and they were arguing about whose house it was, and
Fantastic.
like all the chaos in that scene right there, where there was like 4 storylines going on at once.
Mhm.
that was
I
awesome.
love that stuff.
And then like
That's
the
another
old
reason
news
why like
reporter gets
IT
pointed
Crowd is
out.
one of my favorite
Mhm.
shows. Because in IT Crowd, each character has their own storyline going on every episode. And I love it when there's that nexus where they all meet and it's just utter chaos.
Yeah.
And that was what that scene felt like to me. Oh, I loved it.
Sorry, I didn't believe you about Beth. yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine, bro.
Too
Yeah.
late
Running
now.
around in his towel.
And like he walks
waving his
in.
gun around, threatening to shoot everybody, including the brother.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that poor Deagle. I don't know. Like I like the fact that he walks into Zach walks into the kitchen after the first time he sees Beth, freaks out, and says, "You guys just faked her death to get me away from her," which okay, I guess. And then he walks back home, goes to the kitchen, and says, "Oh, Beth's alive, and that's fine, whatever." And they're like, "I don't think that's funny." Me
He's like,
either.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Like that. The family should have been like,
What?
"Are you okay?
Nope, they
You-
did not
No,
care.
they don't care.
You need to what now?"
Yeah.
I think they kept illustrating the big difference between the families there, though, to show that what he wasn't getting from his parents, he got from Beth's parents, and that's
Yeah.
kind of why he was almost unhealthily obsessed with their relationship.
They're dynamic.
Mhm.
Yeah, because like every time he'd bring something up about Beth, and they'd be like, "Why are you being such a baby still?" And he's like, "My girlfriend just died." And then they'd like switch the topic and be like,
And
"Oh,
they're like,
well, I met
yeah, it was like
so-and-so."
3 days ago.
Well, that
Yeah.
brings you back to the point that it's an analogy for a relationship because, I mean, you're just like, oh, my stupid son's first love, whatever, he's going to get over it.
Oh, geez, I hope I'm not like that as a parent. That's a really
I'm
depressing
totally gonna be
thought.
like that as a parent. Like,
Come
oh,
on, move on, it's fine. You're going to be fine. Here's Anna Kendrick presenting
yeah.
Anna
Please.
Kendrick.
I'm pretty sure. Like I don't find Anna Kendrick all that attractive. Her
Oh, I
teeth
think
bother
she's
me.
so cute.
Her face comes to a very distinct point.
Right.
She makes that same face when she's really excited that I do, and I think that's why I like her.
Right.
That
Now,
extremely
on-
happy face.
On the other hand, if she would have played Cups throughout this movie, I would have given it just 6 or 7.
What are you talking about, Cups?
Cups. Okay,
she
so
plays Cups in that Pitch Perfect movie.
she's actually kind of famous for this. It's like the song.
Wait,
I
what
don't
do you mean
remember what the
Cups?
song is.
I think it's called
it's
Cups.
it's the Cup song. I don't know
Yeah.
what.
What are
Yeah.
you talking about? I don't know.
Okay.
YouTube,
Just-
YouTube
just
it
give me a second.
after this.
Give me a second. So, the song "You're Gonna Miss Me When I'm Gone" or whatever, like
Uh-huh.
she
Yeah.
redid it. She's famous for this. This is what got her the gig on Pitch Perfect, I guess. Where they use the cup as the percussion.
Yep, I
So
did.
she uses the beat and
Oh,
she spins
alright.
it and flips it and makes sound,
I
whatever.
know what you're talking
Drums
about.
on it.
And it's dumb.
Yeah.
And I hate everything about it. However, if they would have used it in this movie, I probably would have giggled and then just moved on. Because
Sure, Twilight too.
me and my friend were talking about this earlier because I made him watch it to kind of get a good idea of what he thought of it as well. And we came to the conclusion that she is the cups whore. That's her title. That's what she does.
Oh.
That's what she's used for, and she needs to do it all the time.
I mean, the thing is that Anna Kendrick appears in these. She appears in Twilight. She appears in super prestigious movies all of a sudden and musicals. I don't know what her thing is. I don't think she's found what she wants to do yet.
She's in this movie about the apocalypse that's really adorable.
Oh, is it that one where they shoot Jesus out of the sky?
Yeah,
That was such a weird movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like,
I don't remember
That
what it was
guy from
called.
The Office plays Satan, and then that dude from Community plays God.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that
then,
guy and that dude, my favorite.
Yeah,
So-
that's very descriptive. There's a lot of that guy and that dude in all of those shows.
The
the
guy with
Chinese
the
guy
fish.
from
Noel, you've been really
Yeah.
quiet.
Are
Do
you
wanna
there?
say like what your favorite thing about the movie was,
My favorite thing,
or least favorite?
Well, we
Whichever
haven't
one.
gotten to the end. You can walk us through the heartwarming ending.
Right. Since you said that this is got heart and got better as it went on, I'm gonna let you take the ending part now and see what you come up with.
where are we picking up from? When you-
Wherever, just
You
pick
can
a point and go.
You can just say how it winds up.
like,
We don't need to go through the whole movie.
Right.
Okay, so Dane, our lead, I'm trying to think where we're starting at. Basically, he
Well, he knows that she's a zombie
goes
now.
back.
Yeah.
Everybody, well, this is where we're at.
How about you start with where he introduces her to her grave, either before or after he runs her over with a car.
Jeez, yeah.
I think that's before.
Okay.
No, I think it's after because he has to explain
Right.
that.
Oh, good
Runs her
point.
over with a car and
Yeah.
then has to tell her
Because she's
dead.
having like a mental breakdown, and he's like, "You are dead." So he
Yes.
takes her to her grave, and she like completely goes off the rails.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So basically, by the time that's happening, zombie apocalypse is pretty much in full swing, though.
Yeah.
The zombies all over town are being revealed, families are discovering them, and sort of apocalypse has begun.
And this is when they actually start getting violent too, because for a long time they were just kind of normal, but now they're actually starting to eat people, and they're starting to like lose their self, and just become the regular like brains kind of zombies.
Right. So I guess you guys said the timeline. What is it like? It's about a week, over the course of a week, that things start.
Yeah, up
I would guess so.
somewhere.
Or take.
It's not really like exact.
Yeah, but it's about that long.
Yeah.
They come back as the people as they left, and then slowly we have this evolution of getting closer and closer to the traditional zombie sort of tropes of the green.
And it's
makeup.
actually really sad to watch. Like, I know, like, my boyfriend watched this, and one of his big things is, like, he's so terrified of losing himself. Like, he's scared of things like Alzheimer's or mental disorders or anything like that. And watching that was actually hard for him because he finds that very scary.
So we should watch Still Alice next.
So little things where she was just like, you know, let's go flamingo dancing. And he's like, it's flamenco. And she's like, I think I know what I'm talking about.
Don't be an idiot.
Little
It's
stuff like that where
Flamingo.
it just kept sinking in more and more and more. He was just like, this is scary to me.
That's an interesting a metaphor, and I hadn't thought of that. But it could be, it could be more than just the end of a It's the end of a relationship, but it could be caused by death. But it could also be caused by somebody
Just
losing their
change-
mind.
Yeah.
The great
Losing
thing
their
about-
self.
I think the reason that it works so well in this film is Aubrey Plaza. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, she can do no wrong. She never puts a foot wrong in her acting, whether it's comedic. And here, she's essentially improving that whole last fourth or fifth of the movie when she becomes a babbling.
Really?
Sort of, when she really loses it and becomes a zombie, because she's still saying things. She's still responding to him. He takes her out for the final,
Hiking trip.
hiking
countdown.
trip.
Oh, before we
Talk
talk
about-
about the hiking trick, again, talking about
Trick?
her mother. Trip.
The hiking trick.
Talking about her mother and how out of touch of reality and how much she lost it when her daughter died. The fact that when the daughter became a regular zombie and was eating people, she tied her to the oven and was feeding her her own hand.
Right.
She's just like, I just gotta take care of my baby. I just
Right.
gotta. She's hungry. Like,
And the dad was just as protective crazy. Like, you can't take her out in daylight. You can't do
Right.
this. We got to keep her inside. It's your fault. All the zombies are pissed off. You
Yeah.
did this because you told her she was dead.
Yeah, that was another moving part of the film, was that relationship, the parents' desperate need to protect
yeah.
their daughter,
But
because
they
they don't
can't.
understand. they don't
Yeah.
understand what's going on. You know,
But
they
they
think
can't
it's just
stop
her.
all these like changes that are happening to her, and they have no control over it. But they'll just lash out at the first person.
Right, and of course, Molly Shannon as her mother is feeding her her fingers, and after she killed the father, so things are really out of control. But then, oh, the other thing I think is great in terms of an evolution of a relationship is going back to the first sort of scene between Dane and, I'm sorry, Zach, the character Zach, and Beth's parents, again played by John C. Reilly and Molly Shannon. Long before she even comes back, it's established, as you guys were saying, that Zach, the character of Zach, is getting something from her parents that he's not getting from his own. And I feel like when Beth is removed from that, we see when Beth returns, she's like a wrench in the development of that relationship.
For sure.
And a conflict develops between, particularly her father, played by John C. Reilly, and her boyfriend. Of the boyfriend wants to bring Beth back into his life as as a girlfriend,
Yes.
resuming where they left off, and the father is not allowing that to happen. But what happens is, my favorite scene is where they go to find the maid who quit.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
Perlene.
Sorry, I'm
Yes,
jumping
right.
around here.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Basically the zombie apocalypse has begun. Everything's out of control, and Zach thinks that the key to this might be the maid.
Who happens to be Haitian.
Yeah, and it's because like the night before Beth came back, the maid was like
She runs
flipped out on him, ran out, and was like, "I'm never gonna be here again." So he's like, "Oh, they must have been like dealing with a Ouija board and a ritual and something, and
Right.
something went wrong."
She says to Zach, "Don't go in that house. The crazy stuff is going on in there."
Yeah.
You know, this is before Beth returns. So a big drama finding out where she lives. And there's a long history, of course, of, horrific colonial relationship between the United States and Haiti, among other places. And the idea, and then there's a long history in horror movies of the zombie is connected to Haiti. It's connected to voodoo. And just the worst kind of tradition of the most racist representations of Haitians and voodoo, and even films that I think are really great, like I Walked with a Zombie from the 40s. There's, White Zombie. There's good films, but they're all pretty
Queen of the
racist
Zombies.
ultimately. And then they show up to the maid's apartment. The brother answers the door, and Zach says, "Where is she? Where is she? I think she's the key to this." And the brother says, "What? Because because we're Haitian."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Racist.
Totally, that whole thing, that whole history, that whole kind of long tradition of the Haitians and the zombies just totally knocked down with that one.
Wonderful.
And then,
Okay.
oh, by the way, she left because Maury wanted her to touch his penis.
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 His
So I have
penis.
to say that was my favorite scene because that was a really beautiful satire on the zombie genre itself. But then John C. Reilly, Beth's father, shows up, and they have a confrontation, and that's, I feel, where that relationship, the boyfriend and the girlfriend's father, really comes to blows, and John C. Reilly hits him in the head, knocks him out.
He like
with,
holds him to a gunpoint.
Yeah. So the film is also about, it's such an interesting relationship, right? I mean, what is your relationship to your partner's or your girlfriend or boyfriend's parents?
Yeah.
It's such an odd thing. And this film really delves into how that relationship can be good and go bad and how it evolves over time. So that was, I think, my favorite kind of sequence was the voodoo slash confrontation between the boy and the girlfriend's father.
Yeah.
So and that's bringing us closer to the end, but I'm not sure quite where we are in terms of recounting.
Well, we can
basically
go
there.
to the part where, Beth
That's
is
where everything started
tied.
like spiraling down.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it escalates to the point where Beth's mom has to tie her to the fridge, feeds her own fingers,
It's
and
a
Zach
stove.
is like, "This has got to stop."
And so the whole movie too, like she keeps saying like, "Oh, you never went on a hike with me. You never wanted to go on
Yes.
hiking with me. Like I asked you a million times." And even in one of his like makeup speeches, he's just like, "I'm going to go hiking whenever you want to. We'll go flamenco dancing. We'll do all these things you wanted." So his final like letting go of Beth is like, "Let's go on that hike you always wanted."
Physically and metaphorically.
And
to
then
let
she
her go.
And I thought
stands up.
that was actually really sweet. Oh yeah, she's just like, "Yeah, let's go on a hike." So she just like stands up and rips the oven out of the wall.
And
It's
she
like, oh, that
it's
was
just
great.
strapped to her back with that post sticking to her chest, and she just walks out of the house with it because zombies have superhuman
She
strength.
has like a hard time getting out of the door.
Oh, speaking of which, the fact that she was able to stand up and rip the oven right out, do you think that means she was just sitting there the whole time letting her mom feed her just to be nice?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, her
I think
mom
she
was feeding
was.
her. There
Basically.
wasn't an issue yet.
She's a
Right.
nice
Very
lady.
hungry. Yeah.
She was hungry.
And you know,
hungry.
And they also say she has gone almost completely blind at this point too. So why run around blind
She did.
when the mom is going to give you food?
no, there's
Yeah.
they put the glasses on her, but I think that's just to protect her eyes from the sun.
No,
because
remember
she's-
there's the part where she couldn't see him when he got far away.
Oh,
So
yeah,
she
she's
could
like,
see
"Where
up
are you?"
close, but as soon as things were far away, she couldn't see anymore.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah,
I
kinda.
She
forgot.
could only see things that were like really close. So
and then
I
she
think
walks
she
through the
was just like,
glass.
"Oh, the mom is like feeding me, so I don't have to go anywhere."
I guess, sort of.
I guess they didn't really spell it out, but I could see why that would make sense.
And then
Yeah.
whatever.
So then they get up to the peak or whatever, maybe their favorite spot.
Oh, wait, we missed the best part. The brother comes back.
Oh yeah, he starts the resistance.
Oh god. So my second favorite scene is like when she walks out and the brother's like, hit the deck, I'm gonna kill her, and Zach is like, no, whatever, we gotta save her. And then that old lady pops up. Excuse me. Kyle turns around, shoots her right in the head, and then goes right back to just
And it was clear that she was probably human.
I know.
Yeah.
And nobody
And doesn't he say something like, "Man, I've always wanted to do that"? Like,
he actually says that all he's ever wanted to do was shoot people. Like that's
Yeah.
what he's wanted to do, and that's
He's like,
it's like
"Find a
living the
different
dream right now.
oh god, it's so good, it's so good.
when they cut, I think in a less interesting film, after the scene with the brother, when they show up at the actual peak of the hike or the cliff, I think a less interesting film, they would have taken the oven off her back, like, oh well, he at some point he unties her. But
Yeah.
the fact that she still has the oven on her back, and this is like
Why?
big climax.
Welcome
I
to
thought
quirky
that was
movies.
brilliant. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And Aubrey Plaza is improvising pretty much that whole time.
Yeah.
And
So
it's so beautiful. She does it so beautifully in terms of just barely, there's a little bit of human in there, but it's mostly zombie, but a little human. And it really leads to a very sweet conclusion.
I'm not sure if you guys caught this particular part where right before she walks through the glass door, and when she's on the phone and they're like, "Who are you talking to?" and she's like, "Someone, someone who actually cares about me," or
Yep.
what is it? But the guy that she's talking to, his name is Andy. Let that sink in.
Is that a reference to Parks and Rec?
Yes,
Wait.
Oh wow!
because her character's boyfriend is
Yeah.
Andy, who's played by Christopher
Chris
Pratt.
Pratt?
Yeah.
Ah, I did not realize that.
Really?
I
I've
didn't
seen
get that
like
either.
half an episode of that show, and I caught
Oh,
it.
I love
God.
Parks and Rec. And
I do-
Andy and her as a couple are like my favorite thing in Parks
It's
and Rec. They are
everyone's
so
favorite
funny.
thing, apparently, you can't get away from away from them on the internet.
I do love
Yeah.
that part though, where she's on the phone and she walks straight through the glass and then just casually eats the stranger, and you just see the blood splatter.
It's never
And
really explained what she's eating. It could be the family dog.
No,
for
no,
all
no.
we know.
There's a
You see a
dude.
guy,
There's a
like-
dude that
Really?
runs by in the backyard.
Because
and
I'm
she
pretty
just goes
sure I
after
stared
him.
at that. Oh, a guy running. So
Yeah, it's just like random before it even cuts to inside the house. Like he goes to
Yeah.
the front door, you see a dude run by, and he's like, okay. Then he goes
Because
to the house.
the main character even says later, "You killed a man. You ate him. I saw that." And
Right.
she's
Right.
just like, "Yeah, whatever." Or like, I
She's
don't
a
remember what she
zombie.
said.
She's like, I'm a zombie.
I
Yeah.
watched that
Set off the
multiple
zombie.
times and I didn't catch it.
Uh,
But I do remember when the first time he gets home after hanging out, there's a guy that's running down the street
Yeah.
like at 3:00 in the morning.
yeah.
This is after the chestnut. This is before he actually sees
But what do you
Beth.
think it is?
it's just
He's
a guy
probably
running down the street.
running away from
Oh,
a
he-
family member that
He
got up.
probably saw a family member, and he's just like, "See ya."
Yeah, 'cause he was in like a suit. It wasn't like he was jogging. He
He
was in a
just-
suit and was just booking it.
He just ran 3:00.
And the
in the
guy
morning.
was like, what?
I don't know. Anyway, so
So yeah,
I
they
feel
get to the
like those were almost a reference to like Shaun of the Dead, where you see little hints of it beforehand, but
Oh, yeah.
because the character's so wrapped up in his own life, he doesn't
care.
spot it.
right.
Well, he notices it, but we don't have enough information to make any sense.
Yeah,
of it.
at that point it's just like, okay, there's a guy
Yeah.
running down the street at 3:00 in the morning, whatever.
It's clues without context, basically,
Right.
at that point.
Mhm.
But
It's
the
I think it's really when we see the mailman that we know other zombies.
something's up. Yeah.
And of course, the mailman is from Parks and Rec too.
Yeah,
So,
Jerry,
Anybody
Gary,
like-
Larry.
should movie.
So the beautiful, touching speech scene at the when they're out hiking and they're at the top of the thing.
Yes.
Just after that, after he shoots her in the head and she falls down
And
her
limbs
go
fly
flying everywhere.
off.
That's my favorite scene.
Oh,
That-
it's so good. The oven just slowly rolling and she gets caught in a bush.
She looks
So
like
good.
a roly-poly that someone's torturing. Like all the little arms just come off, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
I
The
love
one leg
to-
is still like dangling by a couple threads, just flopping around.
I love too
so
that he
funny,
like
though.
Yeah.
throws the gun.
Obviously a stuffed. I mean, they don't even try to make it realistic at all.
I know it's
No.
so good,
Just-
so good.
If it wasn't for the oven, it wouldn't be so funny. But the oven really
Right.
makes that whole scene so special, you know.
Plus,
It is
it's like the
special, no?
juxtaposition of that like serious moment, like very
Totally.
heartfelt, and then just this girl rolling down a mountain with an oven strapped to her is just hilarious.
Totally,
So
I
funny.
loved it. That was brilliant.
And then after that, he goes back to the safe house, sees his family. They aren't actually dead. The brother's like, "Where's my gun?" And
Oh, yeah.
My Desert Eagle.
I killed my girlfriend with it. Threw it down. He's like, "Oh, well, I guess that makes sense."
He's
Whatever.
he's like, I killed my girlfriend with it. I didn't want to bring it back.
And then Anna Kendrick's character's there, and she's like, "I
Completely
stabbed my
freaked out.
grandma in the head with a temple."
Yeah.
She's like the only person that reacts the way a normal person would in this situation.
know,
Just
I
know.
complete panic.
Yeah,
Zach,
the mom-
Zach's mother says she's a little traumatized, but she'll be fine.
I know.
Still trying
So
to
mean.
sell her as a viable
Yeah,
option.
that's right.
And she's
You-
still a good breeder.
why don't you
worry.
I
sit-
shoved a
Sit-
tent pole through my grandma's head.
Why don't you sit in the back? Why don't you kids sit in the back?
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Hey, do you want to go to dinner?" And she's like, "Yeah."
I'm kind of hungry.
I'm
What?
hungry.
I just
I
That's
do
after
love
the-
I do love that for now on, like all the graves have metal plating, like
Yes.
just some of them, not all of them, but a
well,
couple.
the ones
of them.
that came back.
Yeah, that's pretty entertaining.
Little bolts, yeah. And then it gives the date of birth, death, and then there's a
Like-
second date of death.
Yeah.
Parentheses underneath. So I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
That-
there's
very
a
cute.
few
the
really
fact-
good touches, but the problem that I have is it's almost sort of slightly implied that Beth is the cause. Like
Oh.
she's the first one that comes back,
Oh.
Well,
and then after she's dead, like shortly after,
I
It
don't
all
know if
ends.
she is though.
Because the guy was running in his neighborhood before she came back.
right? But it's never implied that he's a zombie. He may have just seen like
yeah,
her.
but he saw one.
because
so
apparently-
I guess it's left pretty vague. But
It
I
could
don't-
have
I
been
don't
her
think
that he
she
saw.
Was.
Yeah, it absolutely could have been her that he saw.
Oh. Yeah, because
20
everybody
minutes
in this
later.
gated community knew each other too.
Right. And it was 20 minutes after he left that she showed up and rang the doorbell at home.
Oh, right.
yeah, but why? What do you think the significance of that would be?
Nothing.
Right.
That's the point.
Oh.
It's implied that it's kind of her, but then it's never actually pointed out, and it doesn't actually mean anything. It's just there.
So do you think that it wasn't the housekeeper then that brought them all back?
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
I had to ask. Like,
Just to be sure.
Just because we're Haitian, and he goes, "Oh, yeah."
Maybe it was like the mother's complete denial that she was dead that brought her back. Like almost like a reverse. What's that? Austin Yake, the little Odic story, where she, like the mother has this little root that looks like a baby, and she wishes for it to be a baby so bad it becomes a baby.
Kind of.
Like maybe it
magic,
was the
sure.
mother's complete denial that her daughter was dead that brought her daughter back.
I like that it's unexplained.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
do
the
too.
zombies are attacking, because it's just, it's happening. It's finally happening.
I would have liked to see at least another day of zombies after she was dead.
oh yeah.
But
It's
it's
the same thing in Shaun of the Dead, right? There's not really an explanation as to how it starts or why it ends, right?
Right.
well, it doesn't end in Shaun of the Dead. It's
Yeah,
just
they just
Oh,
live
right,
with
it
the
just ties
zombie
They harness their
right.
yeah.
Right.
zombiness.
Definitely.
So I mean,
But with
this
Shaun
one,
of the Dead, it's kind of one of those like Walking Dead where it's like as soon as you die, you're gonna become a zombie. Period. It's not like an infection or a bite or something. It's like
Right.
you're dead, you're a zombie now.
Yeah.
This is just the world now.
and
And
I guess it could just come around that the military actually did get everything handled, and no one needs to worry about it anymore.
All those guys in the orange suits.
yes.
Right. But it's just odd to me that after she's the first one, and then at the end when she's the last one to die, that we see die on screen. It's like, oh, and we're done here. And then Zach
Well, I
has
mean,
to be an idiot and want to go to Peru of all places.
Oh, what was the deal with that?
Well, they were talking about islands to go to for vacation earlier
Oh,
in the
Machu
film.
Picchu.
So I thought that maybe this was like a vacation destination or something. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, they're getting back to their regular
But
family.
he wants to go to
plan.
Peru to be separated from society, so there's no zombies to worry about.
Oh, okay. There's two things I want to mention that I think are also subversive that the film does. Well, one in particular, not just the sort of pulling the rug out about the Haitian thing, which, as I've said many times, I love. The other thing is, she rapes him. She essentially
Yes.
rapes
Yeah.
and she becomes a rageaholic, and she becomes an abusive girlfriend, and she shows up at the diner when he's just had lunch with the Anna Kendrick character.
Yep.
And she starts calling him bitch and smacking him around,
That was
and I
bad.
feel like
And asking who the other Beth is.
yeah. This girl and but particularly the scene where she almost forces him to have sex with her.
Yeah.
I felt like the film was being really subversive because you never see that. You
No.
can ask the question,
Yeah.
is it impossible for a woman to rape a man? And in this film, I thought we really got as close to that as we could. I'm so tired, and particularly watching horror films. I mean, at a certain point, you can't take watching any more women get raped or abused
Yeah.
or killed. And it was so refreshing to have the woman.
It's so refreshing to see a man raped.
Just to
the role
finally
reversal.
experience the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought that was brilliant, and I thought that one way you could read it was that her first rage happens when he's playing her the song he wrote for her, and the
Right.
song's really bad.
Yeah, it's
He
bad.
says,
It is, to be
"This is
fair."
terrible. Are you kidding me? You're fucking with me." And then she goes off into her first major rage, and I thought, well, maybe that's just how she was really reacting, but just
Well, and the song-
exaggerated. You know
the
what
song
I mean?
itself is blatantly talking about either them breaking up or her dying. And so
Oh,
she's just
actually.
like, what is this song about? Because we're a happy couple. Why
Yes.
are you having to get over me?
Right, it's kind of a denial thing coming up, and she's yelling, and that makes sense.
But still, it was nice to see a woman, a young, pretty, intelligent woman, be not just the aggressor, but actually be dangerous and be a little
Yeah.
scary. And
Have a car parked on her chest.
Yeah.
what?
And stand up.
A car parked on her chest.
Oh, yeah,
that
she's
was
like,
pretty hilarious.
I'm fine. Keep
No
going.
squishing, by the way. No broken bones. No
And the
collapsed chest. Just
The other thing that I loved the Jewishness of Beth's family. My question, because I thought that was really well done. It was subtle. Everybody was wearing yarmulkes at the funeral, and
Yeah.
she was
I
doing.
don't think it was Beth's family that was Jewish because I don't remember seeing Maury with
Yeah,
the
he
thing,
had
but I
one.
remember
He did.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did.
because I know
Definitely.
Dane did, and then his dad is Paul Reiser, which obviously.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that
think
was my
both families
question.
were.
No, Maury
think both
definitely
of-
had it on.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't really sure to be
I
honest.
think it was both families.
Okay, I wasn't sure about Zach's family because the mother was a very typical shiksa, what we in the Jewish community call a shiksa, which is like a blonde, washed woman. But the boys, the two brothers, looked alike, and I thought that they got the blondness from the mother, or was she maybe a stepmother? I was trying to figure out all the relationships.
I don't really know, but
I
you know,
guess
Paul
they were-
Reiser being the dad, not to be racist, but it's Paul Reiser.
Oh no, I agree. I totally thought they have to be.
Right.
Right. And then, oh god, what was the other dude? There's another guy, Mr. Levin, Paul White's or whatever.
Oh, the guy's house that they went to after the
Yeah,
apocalypse.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
this
Yeah,
this
Oh,
this is
yeah.
a Jewish zombie movie. Like that's the way it
Jewish
is.
it
zombie
really
movie.
is. When the uncle comes back, he says, "I'm gonna go up in the base. I'm gonna go up in the attic." And he's like, "Why
Oh,
are
yeah.
you going in the attic? I'm going to the attic. Stop going to the attic." And then I'm going to the attic, and then the wife says, "Well, just go."
Yeah.
And he
You
says,
love me a
"Well, I
good
don't
attic."
have to go to the attic.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Classic
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I
did
yeah, I
love
like
Perfectly
that.
done.
So much like
All right,
bickering and
so we're
oh man, it was
at
so
like
good.
55 minutes here.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we
yes.
can, ratings.
Do you want to go back over everything?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'll start again and we'll go in order. I think I'm gonna stick with my same rating of 6, even though I was convinced by Brady that yeah, it was, you know, there are a few things that weren't working, but then I was pushed back up by Noel, and like I feel like, you know, I love the you know, all of the things that I'm thinking of now that, oh yeah, that does read as, you know, it's just a lovely metaphor for an early relationship and your annoying family, like, and figuring it out. So, yeah, I'm going to say it a 6.
All right.
Mons?
I really badly want to go up to a 7, but then I remember Babadook was an 8, and I'm like, those two do not need to be right beside each other.
No, this is just cute.
So I think I'm gonna stay 6. Like, I mean, but like I said, like my two favorite things are the macabre and silly, and when they work together so well in a film, it makes me very happy.
Okay.
Like I was trying really hard because we have so many, like we had like dark, twisted, gory, like we've hit a little bit of most genres when it comes to horror. So I was really wanting to do a lighthearted movie, and I was deciding between this one and Odd Thomas, which Odd Thomas I really love too. I would highly recommend that one. But I finally went for this one because I felt like it kind of nailed the cute factor more than Odd Thomas did when it comes to still being really grotesque, still being like really gory, really bloody, really like not really scary at some points, but like I said, just the dark, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like this one nailed it a lot more than Odd Thomas, so that's why I finally went for this one. But I really love it when movies can mix those two things together and succeed. So it's still, and for me, 6 is a really good rating. So I feel like I should say that too. 6 is a good rating, but it's gonna stay a 6.
All right.
So before I go into this, I want to comment on your Odd Thomas thing. For me, it's a little hard to compare these two. They're sort of the same up to a point, except that Odd Thomas really takes the traumatized role
Yeah.
and pushes it. Whereas, like in this movie, he kind of gets over everything. The point of Odd Thomas is he is traumatized by everything that happens.
Yeah.
So the ending is a little bit different, and I think Odd Thomas really hits home. Not really hits home, but hits harder, to be honest. Anyway, so this movie, no, we're fighting now. I want you to know that we're fighting because you pulled Crystal's rating back up. I'm putting mine lower,
What?
giving it a 3.
That doesn't make any sense, Brady.
That makes no sense.
Oh no,
My
that's just the way
rating
it's gonna be.
doesn't
Now-
apply to yours.
Okay,
The reason
contrary.
the reason why I'm putting this to a 3 now is because we did talk about a lot of themes here, and since you pointed out these themes, I'm starting to realize that this movie really stretched itself a little bit too thin.
Yeah, like
it
it
didn't
was
focus
pulling back
on
and
one
forth a lot.
enough.
I can see that.
So that's the actual reason why I'm
Like
bringing
the
it
people
back
had a lot
down.
of things to say, and instead of doing it over several films, they put it all in one movie.
Yes,
But it's so much
exactly.
better than Plus One, dude.
It is.
Oh, did you rate +1 as a 3?
I don't probably.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3, and I'm like, well, no,
Now
no.
I'm offended.
I think
Fine,
more
fine. I'll
makes
put it back at a 4. How
Okay,
about
so-
that?
so
Is
Brady-
everyone happy?
Brady, I think what
Yes.
you're saying is that, and I feel like this too, like it would have worked. It would probably been a masterpiece if it was a short film, but they stretched it to an hour
Basically,
and a half
yeah,
long
and,
movie.
and the that would be the only way that I would actually put those two movies on the same level, is the fact that they would work much better shorter.
Yeah,
Like it just gets a little
agree.
bit too thin here and there, and just doesn't bring enough of what it's trying to say. I suppose. I don't know. It's a little
They're trying to
annoying.
bring out too many things. They don't spend enough time on each one.
Exactly.
So like,
And-
I
drive
read
it
a lot of
home.
reviews that said a very similar thing. Yeah. But Brady, did you laugh out loud at all?
during the movie,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, when her leg went flying.
that was great.
Like, I got a little giddy watching the cast
The old
pop
woman
up.
get shot.
Yes, that too. Like when the cast was popping up, I was getting like excited because I love these people. They're all really good at what they do, but they just, I don't know, they're very underutilized. Like we could have had so much more time with Paul Reiser, and I would have been perfectly okay with it.
Yeah, isn't there a TV show you can watch that had 8 seasons that you can watch?
Oh yeah, probably.
What is that?
Possibly.
What's that show
I think it had something to do with two people being mad about each other or
Something.
something.
I don't know. Could have been so many things. And he was also in Aliens, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. He's
Oh yeah, he plays
he's
the
like-
of the corporation. Yeah.
Right. So I'd probably watch that over
Yeah.
anything else. Anyway, so I may or may not be a fan of Mad About You. Whatever. I'll admit it.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Kenda?
Well, geez, with you guys fighting now and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a real bloodbath.
I know. It's almost too much.
Where do you lie? Where are your allegiances?
Oh God. I'm gonna stick to my guns with the 5 because I feel like everything you guys are saying I agree with, but I feel like that's why I can stick to my 5 because it's still neutral and it plays into both the ideas that they didn't quite focus enough on one theme and instead tried to do too many. But on the other hand, there were still so many brilliant moments that were really good highlights for what they were trying to accomplish. So I'm gonna
So
stay
not
with
an
the
awful
5.
movie, but not a great movie.
Right.
Yeah, and the whole idea again that I would watch it plenty more times. It won't stick with me after I watch it. So.
No, I totally agree
It's-
with you on that.
It's worse the second time. Just saying.
Oh jeez. Thanks, Brady.
I
thought
don't
that's
regret
important,
watching it, but what you're saying, I'm not going to share it with my grandkids.
too. Yeah.
I probably will.
Noel?
Yeah. I'll go from 5.5 to 6, just because 5.5 is a stupid score anyway.
And
You
now
don't
we
do
have 3
decimals.
6s, the devil's number.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
The movie is the worst
Maybe
movie
that's
ever.
what brought her back. No, maybe that is what brought her back.
Oh, no,
from
we
the
don't
dead.
have... Oh, yeah.
Our rating.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think if it had been other actors, if it hadn't have been Aubrey Plaza, it wouldn't have been the same. So I think a lot of my enthusiasm for the film has a lot to do with her. And
Yeah, in actuality, like the whole cast. If I'm trying to picture other people in them, and I don't think the movie would have been as good with a different cast.
The movie would have sucked without this
Agreed.
cast, just hands
Yeah.
down.
That was a pretty those were pretty flawless pickings.
I think Dane DeHaan was okay as Zach, but I do think they could have maybe found a more focused actor who would be able to bounce from all the different things that we're talking about, all the different themes, maybe a little better. But
No, I
he was
completely agree with you with these like emo guys. I'm so annoyed with that like Warm Bodies kid. I want to punch him in the face.
I haven't seen that, but I mean, to be honest, when it comes to Dane, yeah, he does kind of have that sort of thing. Because have you seen Chronicle?
He looks like a pink mouse baby.
Kind of. He's really good in Chronicle, but he still kind of has that emo sort of thing. Of course, that's
Yeah,
the
he
point of
was
his character.
My least favorite character.
However, in the Metallica movie, what is it? Through the Never.
Oh
He's
yeah, I
amazing.
have not seen that, so I will
Because
check
he-
that out for him.
Just watch. He's pretty good in Through the Never because he's kind of a punky sort of badass and goes on quite the adventure.
I don't think he's bad. I just don't. I think of all the things to recast, that would be the one that I think could improve the movie. But I do want to say, and I haven't said this, I don't like the end. The very end feels weak to me, and I'm not sure how
Yeah.
they ended it. But this feels, I don't know. It definitely feels
Like cheap.
doesn't go out with a bang. That's for sure.
I feel like they
Sure.
could have ended on him knocking her off the cliff.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, or at least have more zombies happening at
Yeah.
the end.
I feel like they could have had that whole scene with his family in the safe house while he was still with her on the cliff.
Yeah.
And then they could have gone to him, shooting her and she falling down, and that's the end. And then it's like, okay, now everything's drawn together. We're done.
I don't know. I do like the end because it's just one more jab for the mom to be inappropriate in this situation.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Good point.
you're just coming from the funeral, mourning your girlfriend again. Oh, why don't you go sit in the back with this other girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that word you use?
She's
No.
cute.
Which
for the
word?
mom? The Jewish word for the mother?
Waspy.
The
Shiksa. It's
Shiksa.
Shiksa.
Shiksa. Shiksa.
Shiksa.
Shiksa.
That works.
I
She
like
could
it.
be Shiksa, or she could be a Jewish woman who has a really good hairdresser. Could make look blonde and actually.
Is that all it takes?
Usually no, but it's hard. It's hard to tell with her. But yeah. So the ending was maybe it wasn't so much the ending, but the way they did the ending. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think it's the delivery.
Might be the delivery, but
Yeah, to me that was kind of the problem with the movie all around. Is just the delivery wasn't enough. Do we want to take a moment and talk about movies that like suggestions, like if you liked this aspect
Yeah, we should
or
do
this?
Yeah, we'll do a round.
Sure.
No,
Okay.
did you have anything else to say about it? No.
I think,
No, we're fighting. He's cut off.
what?
Not listening. Don't listen to
Nothing,
him.
never mind.
Because you guys are fighting, quote unquote.
I didn't know, Brady. I love you. I don't know. We can't be fighting unless both of us are fighting, and I'm not fighting you.
Yeah, fighting's a two-way street, bro.
No, sorry, that's not the way it works.
Takes two to flamingo, Brady.
Yeah. That was beautiful, Kenda. I can't even.
We'll make that into our movie poster for this movie.
Takes two to flamingo.
I love it. All right. Well, I guess we can go do a round of recommendations. I guess we'll go in the same order. I just saw this. I will recommend it because it did stay with me, and I will share it with my grandkids and horrify them.
Yeah.
I saw Angel Heart.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It is a masterpiece.
It's a beautiful film.
It is beautiful. It is when Mickey Rourke was young and hot. I know that sounds crazy. He doesn't even look like the same species anymore.
Oh, jeez.
Because he got his face bashed in.
He got his face, well, and now he's a big, kind of monster-esque looking man. I love him, but in this movie, it reminds me a lot of Chinatown, where it's a film noir, but it was filmed in, I think it's the 70s or the 80s. And it's just, the cinematography is flawless. It's an airtight script. And this gumshoe goes down the darkest possible rabbit hole to the point where it gave me nightmares. That doesn't happen. Check it out, people. Robert De Niro is in it. He's wonderful. And Mickey Rourke, and it's got like tons of terrifying imagery. The ending will make your brain explode, and I loved it.
All right.
I'll
That's
check-
going on my list.
All right.
Monica.
So I guess for me, again, if you like the silly, lighthearted, but darker genre, I would say Odd Thomas. That's definitely a good one, and that was one that I was debating on doing with this one.
Okay.
If you like just different zombie movies that aren't like the cookie cutter, like cut and paste zombie films, there's one on Netflix called The Returned. I was really impressed with that. And it has one of those like gut-wrenching endings that, Brady loves happy endings. It's got one of his happy endings.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, that one's definitely good.
Yes. All right.
Kenda?
So
Oh, it's
Wait,
Brady.
can
Or
you
sorry,
skip
Brady.
me?
I'm
Fine,
just skipping
fine.
you, Brady.
We're all
Whatever.
fighting with you, Brady.
Obviously. So I'll go with two particular quirky zombie movies. Not necessarily very good by any means, but they've got an interesting twist on everything. First off, Deadheads. It's pretty entertaining. Dude wakes up as a zombie, but is fairly intelligent and wants to make it back to his girlfriend because he loves her. Pretty fun. Nice little adventure, as it were. And then, zombies.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Oh, it's so good.
Where they don't know they're the zombies,
Yes,
right?
and they're trying to stop
and they
the
just
zombie
think everybody's
apocalypse.
just going like they think everybody else is on crack and going really fast.
And it's
Yeah.
it's just fun because it's a weird twist on
Yeah.
zombies because you get to see
It's
it from the
interesting.
zombies' perspective, and it's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's just called Zombies?
Zombies.
like
AAAH.
yeah.
Like our real
Zombies.
monsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
3 A's.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's-
that was one that Netflix recommended to me over and over and over again, and it finally wore me down. I'm like, all right, I'll watch it, and then,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
it's
really
just
enjoyed it.
so dumb.
Oh, actually, can I add one more?
This
Yes.
is like, you guys are like,
The
okay, I
other
got
one
5
I
movies for
was
you.
Debating on doing. I don't know. Well, the other one I was debating, I couldn't remember. I was debating between 3 movies for this kind of lighthearted. The other one was John Dies at the End.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That movie's fantastic.
I haven't
I
seen the
love
movie,
that
but the
movie.
books are
Yes.
so much my favorite.
Read the
Oh,
books.
I didn't
The
even
books are
know it was a
fantastic.
book, but that movie, just Phantom Limbs, blew my mind.
Yes.
Read,
like my favorite
do
one.
yourself a favor, read the books.
Okay,
Oh,
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
know
read
those.
the
I'll have
books.
to check them out.
Sounds good.
Like,
Alright.
if you
Okay.
liked Einstein theories and dick jokes, it's all within
I think those are 2
Yeah.
things Brady loves.
It's true.
All right, sorry, Kinda, you go.
So, I couldn't. The closest thing I could think of that I have seen recently that went with this kind of weird indie theme with quirks and whatnot was the movie Horns with Daniel
I
Radcliffe.
loved it.
I haven't
Yeah.
finished it.
It's
I
so
watched the
weird.
beginning, and I was so disinterested in the beginning.
Monica,
that-
you have
Oh,
no
it's-
fucking idea what you're talking about. Please finish it.
So it's got a lot of the same tropes. There's like the dead girlfriend at the beginning, but the difference is he's blamed for her murder, and he's spending most of the movie trying to prove that he was not the one that did it. And you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe he's actually like a really asshole guy, and he murdered her.
I
pretty
think
But
the part that like killed me. So the movie's called Horns, right?
yes.
The first 5 seconds, the girl's like, "I'm horny." I'm like, "I'm out."
Oh yeah.
Don't worry
That's
about
not
that.
Yeah,
Monica,
you just-
Monica, it has like Twin Peaks references.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
come on.
you read way too into that first
Yeah.
5 minutes. Like just
You
Just
would
watch it.
like it. Like the whole thing is he sprouts these horns for some
Yeah.
reason. It's not explained, and people end up confessing their darkest sins to him, and he's just like, "What is going on?" And there's a lot of metaphors that are fun that are played with. I mean, they're really obvious, but it's still a lot of fun, and it's really dark, and I really enjoyed it despite myself. So,
All right. Yeah, I've had a couple people tell me like, go back and sit through it.
yeah,
I
just
would
if you
share
can
it.
sit through it, I'd say it's worth it.
Totally.
Yeah. What about you, Noel?
Are we so we're talking lighthearted zombie films? Is that
No, I totally ignored that rule. You can do whatever you
right.
want.
Like just
Crystal always ignores that rule.
this
She's just
isn't-
like, here's another movie that's good to
right.
watch.
This has nothing to do with
It's
the
not one
movie.
we're gonna do in the review.
Right.
It's just one that we're saying like, hey, go out and watch this on your own.
Right.
Oh boy.
Get on your butt and watch a movie.
If
instead
it
of
helps,
off your butt.
try to keep it sort of tied to this one,
You don't have to.
but you don't have to.
Okay. Well, I did mention earlier in terms of the history of zombie films that one of the most famous ones, I Walked with a Zombie.
Yeah.
I know you guys might not be into the older ones because it is pretty slow and it is very atmospheric and there's not really.
Me
any
and Crystal used to
gore.
watch those like crazy.
What?
We used to just like watch old zombie movies, mostly because the special effects were so fantastic.
You really just like movies.
And the
Yeah,
shots
we
just
do.
take so long to stab her in the eye.
Oh no, that's zombie.
No,
Have
no,
you
no. I
seen
know,
that
I know. But I'm saying those
Seen
kinds
that
of
movie,
movies.
Noel? There's a movie called Zombie. It's an Italian movie.
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen parts of it. It's pretty notorious as being
Yeah,
probably one of the goriest films of all time, or at least when
it's
it
the
was made, it was one.
slowest
Yeah.
film
Oh,
ever.
Well,
Not like the story progression, like the camera shots are so slow they lull you to sleep.
say. Well, the Italians, they're an eccentric bunch with their horror. Aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
But I Walked with a Zombie is it's Jacques Tourneur who also directed Cat People and some of the they're black and white. They're very low budget, but he's famous for being able to sort of conjure up a lot of atmosphere from very minimal, like the sets are obviously sets. You know, it's very artificial, but it's done so beautifully that you really get sucked into it. So it's not that humorous. I Walked with a Zombie. It's dead serious, but it's interesting. Again, a slow burn. But in terms of comedy zombie, or a more humorous zombie, but still very dark, is a series from Britain, from BBC. There's been 2 seasons. The first season is amazing. The second season was less strong. And what is it called? In the Flesh? I don't know if you guys have... In the Flesh. It's only 3 episodes. The first season's only 3 episodes, as they often do, you know, in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
This is from a couple years ago, and it is so beautifully done. And metaphorically, it works so many ways. And it gives you a sense of small town English life, and it's really interesting. It has so much going on. I wouldn't want to start taking it apart now, but I think it's worth seeing season 1. Season 2 is more problematic, but they've come up with a really complicated but very they're very consistent with the kind of mythology, the way that it works, and it is one of these ones where it happens all of a sudden, and the show really starts after the zombies have been reintegrated into society. And they have to wear special contact lenses, and they have to wear special makeup.
So it's like Fido a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
They have to hide their zombiness.
That's the Return movie I was talking about. Is like after zombies are known, there's actually like a cure for zombies.
Right. Yeah, this has that. This has very much that kind of thing going on.
That's cool.
I will say
I'll have to check that out.
the lead character is gay, but I'm not going to say that it's a gay zombie thing, because it's not.
Yeah. Gay zombies.
Is that a genre?
It would.
I think we found a new
It has
genre.
become a genre, but I don't think any of them are reputable, so I wouldn't. So In the Flesh, that would be my favorite recommendation.
Fair enough.
All right,
great.
and so our next week's recommendation, we're actually going to leave to you, Noel, as well.
Oh my god.
We're gonna
All
leave-
right.
We're going to leave our fates in your capable hands.
Oy vey. So I thought of something today that I thought a brilliant little gem. It's sort of about horror movies or about watching horror movies. And
Okay.
I watched it, and I still think it's a brilliant film, but it is really, really slow. And if you guys hated Picnic at Hanging Rock, I'm afraid anything this slow is going to really work your nerves. It's not the same kind of thing. It's not a dreamy, abstract thing at all. It's set in LA in the 60s or in the early 70s. And oh my God. See, I can't decide.
It's more of a question of, does something happen in the movie?
Does something
Like,
happen?
it can be slow as long as something
Hanging
happens.
Rock was that nothing happened. It
Nothing
was super
happened,
slow, and then there was no conclusion. It was just like, oh yeah, by the way, these girls were never found. The end.
No, you see, no, I saw Underneath the Skin, and I was okay.
Oh yeah.
So I can deal with. I'm in it to win it.
She's too legit to quit.
Like,
Pacing.
I
It took her
love
like
bad
14
movies.
minutes to put a
And
piece of
even
chocolate
if
cake
we
in her
hate
mouth.
it, even if we hate it, I mean that's still something to talk about.
Well, have any of you seen it? It's called Targets.
Target.
Ooh,
No.
I think I've heard of that, actually. That was on one of my
year is
lists.
this?
You know, I should have had all that information ready, but I thought I was going to go back to that I was going to go back to Videodrome. But all of you have seen Videodrome, right?
Yes.
Wait.
I saw it a while ago.
It's
Is
been
it
a while.
1968? Is that the one? Is that
Targets?
What?
Targets?
What are we talking about?
I don't know. I just tried to look it up and see if I could
With,
find
like
it.
Boris
There's
Karloff.
I
one.
don't know.
That's right.
Oh man, we're gonna do
there's
some classics.
Boris Karloff on.
No, it's not what you think. They don't use
Oh.
Boris Karloff in that way. You'll see. I think it's
Oh.
worth seeing. It's not a thrill a minute. It is slow. A lot of stuff happens, but it's about It's about horror and how horror's changed over the years, and it's about watching horror and post '70s and pre '70s horror. I think it'll be interesting because it's very much about kind of what you guys are doing. You know, the whole kind of looking at horror films.
All right.
It'll be
you know-
meta.
Know how brilliant you all know how brilliant Cronenberg is, so I don't need to recommend Cronenberg. You could do Cronenberg.
Oh, he's like totally my favorite.
Yeah.
I love him. Yeah.
I would say Videodrome. I also wanted to Videodrome because that's also about watching horror. Right?
Yeah,
How does that
definitely.
affect you? So in some ways, the films are connected. It's just Videodrome is much more extreme because that's Cronenberg. Takes it to me.
I think maybe we should do an episode where we talk about movies that talk about this stuff, because we can include Videodrome, we could include Hunger Games, Running Man. You know,
Do we want to do that? Like,
I mean, we could do we could watch this movie and then talk about the meta sense of how, you know, these older movies have predicted what we're doing today with American Idol and stuff.
so basically
Crystal.
base it off
Yes.
of
Crystal.
targets
Yes.
and then just kind of bring everything
I
else
just
in.
watched an article about
I like watching
a
articles.
cartoon. Well, it was like a review of a
Okay.
YouTube review
Right.
about a cartoon that I know we both have talked about, and how it almost 100% accurately pictured today.
Lay it on me, girl.
Freakazoid.
Freakazoid.
On
Freakazoid and the internet. Talking
Okay.
about the things people go on for the internet. Because, you know, Freakazoid was supposed to be a man that, like, completely absorbed the internet and went crazy. And he became a superhuman because he had, like, the powers of the internet.
Hey,
Um,
hey, he became a super freak. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But, and it's like the things he keeps going on about, like, he'll just be spouting out random information about stupid stuff and movies, and then all of a sudden he'll talk about a cat for 5 minutes. And then he'll go back to all these, like, random informations, and then it's a cat again. And then it's just like, and they went through this huge article about how, like, Freakazoid just, like, accurately predicted the internet today.
It's
It was-
funny
it was
you
really
say that
funny.
because I just watched a review of Demolition Man that said the same thing.
People knew.
Well, Cronenberg always is ahead of the game, right? I mean,
Right.
but Videodrome particularly, more
Yeah.
than the others. Targets is more about the time that it was made and how things have changed. But it's Peter Bogdanovich, it's his first film, and he was told by Roger Corman, I'll give you money to do a movie, but you have to use Bela Lugosi because I've signed a contract with him and I owe him, or he owes me a certain number of hours on camera. So Peter Bogdanovich really cleverly came up with this structure that manages to include Boris Karloff in, I think, his last film performance, and yet make it about what's going on in the present time. And
Okay.
I don't know if any of you guys have seen Raging Bulls, Easy Rider Raging Bulls. You know, it's a series about American indie film in
Right.
the 70s. And the producer, it's a woman, I can't remember her name, but she talks. I don't want to give too much away, but she said that Bogdanovich and I were figuring out, we wanted to make a horror movie in the late 60s, early 70s, but we were thinking, you know, we can't do Frankenstein anymore. We can't do, you know, The Mummy. What's scary to people? And she said, what's scary is somebody killing somebody for no reason. And of course,
Yeah.
this is all before the whole slasher genre has begun. So Targets is sort of dealing
Well-
with this idea of this modern horror.
I mean, even then, even now, the slasher films and stuff like that are the most terrifying are the ones where the motives don't make sense.
Yeah, right.
So, do you guys want to do like the next episode be focused on targets, but be kind of a special feature where we talk about the meta of the horror genre in general, since that's what Targets is kind of talking about?
We can. It'll probably organically form that way, anyways.
I think
Yeah.
it will, just because, like, especially some of the older horror films as it is, really rely on the psychological side of things rather than the shock value.
Because they couldn't
So-
show as much.
Right.
they
And
do
this
now.
is kind of going into the older films, and we haven't quite done that yet, even though,
And I'm totally down because
right. I mean, Strange Colors kind of got into that sort of feel, to be honest.
Strange Colors got into a lot of feels.
yeah.
it did.
Almost all of them were unwanted.
Yes.
Listen to the previous episode about that.
Yes.
I'll
all
have
right.
it up soon, I swear. I
All
promise.
right, all right. We're running a little long, but
Yes.
I've had a great
But
time
this
with
was
you
good.
guys.
This is good, yeah.
And we'll see. We'll discuss things next time with targets.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Catch you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you very much.